So I watched Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, and since I just reviewed the original, go watch that episode, I thought we would do a little quick follow-up video, as not a whole lot separates the movies other than like the 36-year gap. So first off, I really like that they kept up the Tim Burton charm that the original provided. It still kind of follows his signature style, which I like. He uses practical effects still and stop motion, and almost no CGI. If there was CGI, I didn't really notice all that much, so that was kind of awesome. I love when they can do that. And in the parts where like potentially there was CGI, like it just looked blended pretty well. Like in the first one, like when they're on Jupiter, it's very clearly green screen, but in this one they kind of blend a little bit better, so I like that. They had some fun effects kind of throughout that just kept the continuity that I like the shrunken heads or the sandworms. I think that was great, and I just loved the aesthetic that they provide. Though this one I think had a bit less of the moody, eerie weirdness Tim Burton aesthetic that we usually see, and that the original Beetlejuice had. This time I feel like it was focused a lot more on the comedy rather than the weird creepiness of Beetlejuice, which is not a bad thing. I think it just differs them a little bit in tonality, but overall pretty good thing. Also, of course, you have the return of the legends Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, and Michael Keaton. And Winona Ryder seems to kind of get pushed to the side with her character. Like, we get introduced to her at the very beginning, but in terms of her importance, she kind of gets put to the sidelines a little bit, but her performance is still pretty good. Beetlejuice, however, like the first one, is the best part of the movie and chews up the scene anytime we see him. And thankfully in this one, I think we get a lot more of Beetlejuice, which I think is great. In the first one, like, his name's on the thing, but I don't feel like we see him all that much. But in this one, he is constantly there. Like, there's not a lot of time other than the very beginning where we don't see Beetlejuice. So I kind of like that about this one. So you just kind of get that improvement, I think, because you get to follow him a little bit more. Now, for the primary thing that I wasn't a huge fan of, Moist Critical talks about this in his review, and I noticed it myself watching it. There are a lot of side plots that go off in this movie, and they don't all need to be there. And particularly the side quests that kind of go off kind of happen more in the middle of the movie, or like more into the movie than right at the beginning. And like they'll start and then just a few scenes later they get cut off, and like, sure, I understand why they were there, but at the same time, like, we could have fleshed these out a bit more. I think what they should have done was cut some of them and just grow them a little bit more to just allow them to build, and that could have been better. But I don't really want to elaborate too much on it so that I don't get too much into spoiler territory. Usually I don't care about spoilers, particularly on the longer episodes, but because this is newer and it's just a follow-up episode, I'll keep it pretty spoiler free. Go check it out for yourself. That part was not great, but for overall is pretty fun. And I think for me, this was a fun sequel to a decades old classic, and I think it just puts it at least close or on the same level as the original. They have some aspects that are just a little bit different to them, but they seem pretty on par with each other for the most part, and that I particularly like. Go watch it if you haven't yet. Beetlejuice Beetlejuice was pretty fun. We're not going to give it a rating just because I've only seen it once, so I can't really give my full decision on that yet, but I thought it was pretty fun. Yeah, normal full-length reviews out every Tuesday. It's a great time. Subscribe, like the video. Okay, bye.